Welcome to Awake and Activate. Today, let's talk about wake up to the simple truth. If you haven't had a chance to watch the Deception and Perception live stream, well, I'm going to try and do a short breakdown of the simple truth that resides within each and every one of us, with a short explanation condensing down what was shared last night on the live stream, so that way you can get it in a condensed version and more palatable, and hopefully can fit your schedule just that much better. If you've missed some of the past streams we've done, we've talked about paradigms, phenomena, paradoxes, and just recently we talked about deception and perception. Now we're talking about, the simple truth, which is everything that we've been discussing is boiling down to one simple truth that resides in every single being, every single person, even animals to a certain degree, plant life, everything. Everything boils down to one simple truth. So let's get into it and why man thinks that everything needs to be more complicated or complex, that it can't just be really this easy. As you're looking at this corridor that is gray and endless and twisting, that is the condition of our mind in the confusion that we're in. And let's try and sort this out with the simple truth. Look at this ball of rubber bands of all different colors, twisted and knotted all up together. And it's got numbers from 1 through 11 all around the outside of ways of confusions and twisting of understanding within us. Number 1 is overall generalization. Number 2, all or nothing thinking. Number 3, mental filter. Number 4, disqualifying the positive. Number 5, the shoulds. Number 6, mind reading. Number 7, predicting the future. Number 8, magnifying and minimizing. Number 9, emotional reasoning. Number 10, labeling and mislabeling. Number 11, personalization. Each of these stem out into confusion, which gives us deception in our perception and takes us away from the simple truth. As you see behind me, I have a toroidal field, and when you've got every one of your different energy points or walking rainbows, since after all that is the promise of God, your field is then activated and going out in a correct and orderly fashion, because you've got the simple truth resonating within you. It is then reflecting out and around you. Now let's talk a little bit about that twisted rubber band and those 11 different topics that were brought up and how they lead us away from the simple truth. When we're over generalization, that would mean that we are saying a certain culture is this way, period. And we're not budging on that. When the truth is actually the furthest thing from what we're generalizing them as. 9 out of 10 times, I'd have to say, actually, probably 10 out of 10 times, any generalization is incorrect. The all or nothing thinking, that we all have to think or believe this way or nothing. It's condemnation, or bad things are going to happen, or bad things happen to bad people, or eye for an eye, things of that nature. No, that's a twisting in our thinking. The mental filter, the blocks that we put up from previous things that we may have learned through patterns or old gnosis, old knowledge that was passed down from somebody who had also twisted thinking. And with that, they're actually giving you twisted knowledge. And therefore, you're not going to grow into the simple truth. Disqualifying the positive. So, not accepting the good in life, not seeing the flowers bloom, the green grass, the beautiful air, the mountains, the seashores, people, the divine within others, neglecting the beauty and only pointing out and casting judgments on others. You are disqualifying the positive things. Number 5, the shoulds. I should have done this, I should have done that. Well, now you just added doubt, and that's taking you further away from the simple truth. Number 6, mind reading. So you think you know more about me than I do about myself. How can this be, right? That's kind of not a good mindset to have, to think that you can read other people's minds or think on their behalf and know what they're thinking without actually walking a mile in their footsteps. Number 7 was predicting the future. Well, predicting the future, we're in the end times, or this prophecy needs to be fulfilled, and talking about future events that could be catastrophic or doomsday, or even predicting the future in a positive way and putting the limitations on people that you have to raise up to a certain to be able to see the butterflies and sunshine and roses. Either of those, just live in the moment. You've got the now. That's the simple truth there. Number 8, magnifying and minimizing. So you're magnifying one side of an argument and then minimizing the other. So we should always try to walk in balance, equality, and have the right and left side of our mind in alignment, our heart, our mind with the Creator in alignment, and this will get you closer to the simple truth, but magnifying and minimizing will take you further away. Emotional reasoning. Well, he did this to me, so I have the emotional reasoning to seek justice. Or this happened to me, so I'm going to emotionally want retribution in some way. Or it could go opposite. I love them so much that I take the abuse because I don't want to lose them. Think about what that sounds like. Number 10, labeling and mislabeling. This happens often. There's so many times when people cast judgments or put themselves in a higher platitude than another, that they begin to label and mislabel people. We should not do that. Number 11 is personalization, taking everything that anyone says personally. No matter where you're at or what you're listening to, you think it's all attacking you or affecting directly towards you, when each of us are a divine sovereign and each of us are impacted in our own unique way. So I did want to show you an imbalanced toroidal field that is operating at full capacity in my background as I went over what those 11 knotted up misconceptions that will take you and keep you from the simple truth. And as we see here, Matthew 7 verse 2, you are not the judge, so don't put yourself in that position. You don't have that right, and you don't need that kind of responsibility and weight on your shoulders. When you feel that you have to judge others, then you feel a responsibility to try to save them, when in truth, nobody needs saving. That is already in the grace of God, in the simple truth. After all, God did not create religion. God created man. Man created religion. That's a quote from Anthony Douglas Williams. Also, it is said that we have the mind of Christ. That's in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 16. So, if we all have the mind of Christ already within us, and all that the problem is a twisting that is within us, once we get the twisting undone and we're resonating and doing exactly and walking the walk that is already within us, then the simple truth comes out that Christ is within all, and all means all. He talks on the finished work. He said it's finished. I believe him. He also said the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So if the kingdom of heaven's at hand, what are we waiting for? Why are we still in old ways of thinking? Why have we not put on the new way, the new mind, renewing our heart and our mind in Christ? So what if I was to tell you the simple truth is the freedom, beauty, truth, and love that you already have residing within you? You lack absolutely nothing. It's just a twisting in your thinking that has got people confused on who they really are. An identity crisis, so to speak. So when the finished work was done and it was said it is finished, it's finished. Let's walk in that walk. Put on that new mind, renewing our minds and our hearts, and clearing out and becoming those walking rainbows that we're meant to be in freedom, beauty, truth, and love. The simple truth is you were born divine. You were born with that divine spark. You co-create with us, your brothers and sisters, what is going on around us. It'll start small, it'll start around you, and then start affecting the areas around you, and so on and so on. And the more of us that walk in this clear, simple truth, the better things will be for everybody. Because collectively, we are still creating. Whether or not it is something that we want to acknowledge or disregard, it matters not. We're still all participating in the collective level on what is going on around us. Now, something that I do is I do read scriptures, and I love my Bible. Now, I look to my Bible for affirmations and at a deeper level and through the finished work. And it's a beautiful book, absolutely beautiful. It's changing, and we all know that, but the changes are also reflecting what is going on right now with us. The simple truth is people are awakening to their sovereignty, divinity, the gifts that are within them, taking their power and sovereignty back onto themselves and redistributing it out in a way that would be prosperous for everyone, not just a select few. So do not worry about things that are going on or things you see on the television. Look around what is going on in your area, what is affecting you, and do what you can by putting out your creative, co-creative abilities to improve situations for all mankind. Because after all, we are all brothers and sisters from the one Creator, and we were loved from the beginning, everlasting and eternal, from our Creator. A love that is so pure that has no shadow of turning. There is no possible or probable way that the Creator does not love each and every one of us unconditionally forever. Don't forget it. You are a divine sovereign. Manifest what you want to see going on around you. Untwist your thinking and let's see where we can go together, united. Different cultures, unique divine beings, sovereign in every way, or otherwise it would be pretty boring here. But an experience is an expansion, so we don't want to be automatons, but we can improve things for people that are unduly suffering or being judged or harshly judged without cause or things like that. These are things that are inner works from the simple truth. Soon as you realize who you are and who everyone around you is, I can almost guarantee you're going to treat people much, much differently. Remember, smile is the electricity and life is a battery. Whenever you smile, the battery gets charged and beautiful day is activated. So keep smiling. So the simple truth is, once we get the untwisting and we get clear in our mind, in our heart, and have our awakening to who we are, the truth is so plain and so simple. I don't understand why we have made it so difficult. And I'm not saying like you made it difficult. I'm saying I did also. We think things should be more complex. We think there should be work or effort or, but that's man's way of thinking. That's the paradigm that we're in. That's the reality that we're coming out of, with the simplicity of the truth that you were born sovereign, divine, co-creating, experiencing, expanding. You're wonderful. And as we're going through this process, many people are awakening to the simple truth that we are all brothers and sisters. They're removing condemnation, because when you condemn your brothers and sisters, you're condemning yourself. This is in Scripture also. As a man speaks, so is he. Therefore, if you are labeling and condemning your brothers and sisters, whom are divine sovereigns just like you, well, you're just showing that you still have twisting in your thinking. The simplicity of the truth of who you are, how much you're loved, and the abilities that you have, the tools, the gifts, everything that you have. You did not come here ill-equipped. We are all co-creating at a conscious level that is a collective conscious level. Also on an individual conscious level as we are waking up. And so we will, once the scales tip over, that people go back to the simple truth about who you are and what side of the cross were ye born on. We were all born after the finished work, so there's nothing else to be done except for remember who you are. Your unconditional love, co-creating, manifesting, and doing everything that is going on around you. You have had a say-so in the entire time you've been here, without condemnation, only in pure and unconditional love. And we're going to keep going into this in depth and in more detail about this simple truth, tearing down paradoxes and false narratives that has kept people in bondage and confusion, to just bring about the simplicity of the truth. And really, it is simple, but it is also difficult when we have a lot of things that we have to remove of old twisted thinking. So with that said, guys, have yourself a wonderful day, and always share what you know and listen so we can grow. I love you guys so much. We're in this together. Peace.